People unfairly evicted from their homes during the flawed meth testing debacle may also be reimbursed from the Ministry of Social Development for the money they spent on emergency accommodation. Just today, Housing New Zealand has announced hundreds of state house tenants will be compensated for being booted out of their homes, but the detail is patchy on whether all of those evicted will have all of their expenses paid. They will assess the evicted tenants on a case-by-case basis. Rima and Pauline Herbert were evicted from their home in 2016, along with their 3 grandchildren, whom they have full custody of, after a meth testing report found traces of meth in their garage only. Rima says it could have been due to his daughter smoking meth when she visited on weekends, but the readings in the report, especially those in the garage, say that the grade is less than what's half of the revised safety threshold. The extensive warnings and recommendations in the original meth report led Rima to throw away $15,000 worth of household items. Now, Rima and Pauline were then evicted. They took the kids, one who was a newborn at the time, to a hotel for about 4 weeks. That cost them about $700 a week. Rima has been paying that debt back to MSD ever since. But MSD has told Checkpoint just this afternoon that it will consider, quote, what help or remedial action can be offered in each case, end quote. Cameraman Nick Monroe and I went to visit Rima and one of his grandsons today to see how they're getting along and take me through their ordeal.
We evicted in 2016. I had to go to the tenancy services to get the report, and of course, because I was evicted immediately, we went into a hotel for about 4 weeks. I couldn't stand that, so we went to live with my son for a while. But it was very, very stressful, not only on me, but on to the wider family as well, to see their grandparents removed from their home.
And of course, you had 3 children in your care at the time, and one of them was a newborn.
Exactly. So we got the newborn in early 2016, and so she was with us, the little baby. So we had 3 children at that time, and yeah, it was very stressful for the baby as well. In fact, she ended up with, she had fits, and you know, I can't prove it. It was because of what happened to us, but you know, we were all stressed out, highly stressed out.
And then run us through the sorts of costs that you incurred, because there was a number of stages of costs. You had to pay for this report and you had to do the cleaning of the house at the time to prepare for that.
Yep.
And of course, you had to pay for your 1 month stay in a hotel.
Yep.
And then, I mean, outline what sort of costs you had, of course, in throwing out, as recommended by the report, a lot of the things that you owned.
Yeah, well, I got an assistance from WINS, and they paid for the hotel. Obviously, I have to pay that back, which I'm still doing at the moment. But there's costs like removing the furniture. Now, in the report, it says that the furniture's contaminated, we should get rid of it. So, you know, there's a high cost to that. And so, who's responsible for that? You know, so very stressful. And of course, it's the moving costs as well. So
how much have you been set back by, do you think?
Well, I did mention in one of the interviews that I had that it was 15K. I still believe it's up to that level, and I believe that the Housing New Zealand has offered an amount which I feel is actually a joke.
It's $2,500 to $3,000 as a discretionary grant, upfront or as a base payment for the sorts of costs that you've incurred. How do you respond to that, which has just come out today?
Like I said, I think it's a joke, absolute joke. I mean, I'm not the only one. There are hundreds of families who are worse off than us. So yeah, I think it's a disgrace.
What they've done today as well is to say that they have set up a situation, or they've set up a system where you will have to approach them, outline your story and the cost that you've incurred, and then they will get back to you, obviously with their discretion about how much they're going to pay you back. Are you happy with that kind of arrangement?
Well, no, because what it does is it puts a lot of pressure back on you then, to actually having to front up with the costs, and I feel that's terrible. I mean, you know, why should we go through that again? We went through it in 2016, and now it's going to come back up again. It's terrible.
Have you had any contact with Housing New Zealand in the last, few weeks?
The only contact I've had is that about 2 months ago, I flicked them off an email. I wanted an update on where they're getting on with the report. And the only reply I got back, we'll get in touch when we have the report. So to date, right now, I have not had a report.
And then what's your situation with the money that you're owing for the hotel stays? Because that was organised through WINS, wasn't it?
Correct. I'm still paying that back, in fact, out of my benefit. So yeah, maybe I should go and see WINS about that, or see Housing New Zealand to see what they're going to do or address the payment.
You're still paying that back through your benefit today. Yep. How does that affect your day-to-day life? Oh,
it's terrible. I mean, why should I be paying any money out, for a debt that I feel that I didn't incur?
Rima Herbert there talking to me from his new home. He now faces having to communicate with Housing New Zealand to organise that compensation, as well as the Ministry of Social Development. We will keep in touch with him. We'll let you know any updates we get as to how soon he gets compensation and what form that compensation takes.